you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can achieve this Bride of Frankenstein makeup look. Now this beautiful creature is actually inspired by multiple things, one of them being the classic 1935 film, The Bride of Frankenstein. I feel like when a lot of people think about the Bride of Frankenstein, they typically think of her because she's just such an iconic classic figure in horror history. And the other pieces that helped inspire me was Desi Perkins here on YouTube. What I loved, this is the smartest thing ever, was these bolts right here. They are lotion caps. I was struggling so hard trying to figure out how I wanted to do the bolts because I couldn't do anything too heavy because it likely wouldn't stick, and I wanted it to be some kind of household item that is easy for you guys to do. Now obviously you could probably make the bolts out of Model Magic. That is probably what I would recommend if you didn't do this, but this is literally the smartest thing ever because they look perfect. My other inspiration was the king of horror himself, Rick Baker. Now if you guys don't know Rick Baker, he is just a icon in makeup in general. I was gonna say the horror genre, but just makeup in general, he's just so talented. And the other thing that helped inspire this was I actually believe that his Bride of Frankenstein was in collaboration with MAC, which is so cool. But a really cool thing about him is every single year, his family dresses up for Halloween and they do these insane makeup looks, so they really completely transform themselves, and it's just so cool. And I just thought about sharing that with you guys. And the last little tidbit of inspiration was actually from my Sally tutorial last year. I wanted to incorporate a little bit more on the chest, and I didn't realize that until I was already applying the makeup that it just felt a little bare. And maybe it's because that we got these shoulders out and everything, but I just decided I wanted to add some stitches on the chest, so I took some inspiration from my Sally body paint. So anyways, with all that being said, if you guys are interested in seeing how you can achieve this Bride of Frankenstein makeup look, then just keep watching. Hey guys, so to get started, we're going to be making those nice upturned brows. So I'm just going to be blocking out the very edges of my brows so we can start to build a new brow that is going to be pointy and straight later on. I'm going to be taking my Buckle Bunny Beauty French Benefit Primer and just applying that all over my face before taking my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in white and applying this all over my face as well so we can start to blend that out using my IT Cosmetics Airbrush Buffing Brush. You're then going to want to bring a little bit of that down onto your neck and body as well before setting all of this with your Buckle Bunny Beauty Flawless Finishing Powder. I'm then going to be taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner and just bringing those eyebrows upwards and pointed like I had mentioned earlier before going in to my Morphe Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, taking this dark green eyeshadow, beginning to create a nice wing on the outside of my eye, and then we're going to be going into this beautiful metallic green and just applying this right above that and starting to apply that on to the lid surface as well. We're also going to be taking this plum eyeshadow and just applying this right above that, so we're kind of making a nice thick cat eye. We're also going to be going into our black eyeshadow and beginning to apply that into the crease, and make sure to blend and smoke this out as you go. This is going to be the top of the eyeshadow, so you definitely want to make sure that this is blended. And then we're going to be making a half cut crease with our ColourPop No Filter Concealer and just applying this halfway onto the lid, making sure to lightly blend it out. And you always want to make sure to set this with some white eyeshadow so that it doesn't transfer to your upper lid. We're then going to be going into this metallic purple eyeshadow and just applying this onto the lid as well in the very center. And then you're just going to be taking a clean brush and lightly blending that in towards the inner corner of the eye, but not applying any shadow directly onto that area. We're going to be going back into the dark emerald and just applying that to the lower lash line before going in with the metallic purple as well and just applying that to the inner corner of the lower lash line as well. I'm then going to be taking my NYX Epic Ink Liner and creating a nice cat eye that is going to follow along with the shape of the eyeshadow before going in to my Morphe Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow palette, taking the plum eyeshadow once again and just using that as a nice subtle contour for your cheekbones, forehead, nose, and jawline. We're then going to be taking our Marilyn Paradise paint in black and creating the incisions. So I'm going to be creating a semicircle on my temple areas before creating some lines going down and then connecting those lines to the ear as well, so you kind of form a mini triangle. We're also going to be creating an incision around the neck as well, as if we were decapitated. No big deal. We're then going to be taking our Skin Illustrator Flesh Alcohol Activated Paint Palette, taking Rose Adjuster, and just splattering this all around the incisions. This is going to create that nice irritated look, and the great thing about alcohol activated paints is that they look almost translucent, like they actually look like they are underneath the skin, which is what we are going for. We're then going to be creating a nice incision down our chest and also one around our shoulder as well. This is definitely an area that I took a lot of inspiration from Sally, and like the other incisions, you want to add some nice irritation to these areas as well. We're then going to be taking our Madalyn Paradise paint in white and applying some highlights around our incisions. This is going to help make that skin look a little bit more lifted, so you're going to be applying this to either side of the black incisions that you made earlier. We're then going to be making a nice bruise, so I'm going to be taking my Graftobian Pro Paint in Mantis Green and applying that onto the shoulder and around the neck area. It's okay for this to be a little bit darker because I want this bruise to be a little bit more theatrical than a realistic bruise. I'm going to be taking my Morphe 35B palette, taking this bright purple in a fluffy brush and just stippling that on around the bruise to kind of help make that look a little bit more intense. We're then going to be taking our Madalyn Paradise paint in white and creating the stitches/staples for the incisions. Now, I did this exact same technique for Sally, and I absolutely love how it turned out because it's a little bit more noticeable, and I really like the way it looks. I kind of like the more dramatic, theatrical effect it has. I'm then going to be going back into my Madalyn Paradise paint in black and creating these shadows that these staples and stitches would have. So for example, I'm going to be applying it under the stitches or on the sides of them and just doing this for every single one. I'm going to be using my Tarte Lights Caramel Lashes Mascara and just sweeping that through my eyelashes before going in to my Sugar Pill Plush Eyelashes and just applying that on to my lash line. I'm then going to be taking my Maybelline Lasting Drama eyeliner in Sleek Black and just applying that to half of my lower waterline before moving on to lips. I'm going to start off by outlining my lips with my MAC lip liner in Plum before moving on to taking my ColourPop liquid lipstick in Rouge and just applying that all over my lips. Next, I'm going to be taking my ColourPop liquid lipstick in Tulips and just applying that to the center of the lips just to kind of give it a little bit more of a magenta look. We're then going to be taking our Ben Nye Beautiful Fresh Scab and just applying this in certain areas around the incisions just to kind of look like obviously you were bleeding at some point and then you have some nice coagulated dried blood in the areas that are now stitched back together. We're then going to be taking our Morphe 35B palette, taking this iridescent green and just popping that into the inner corner of the eye before going in to our Skin Illustrator Flesh Alcohol Activated Paint, taking Rose Adjuster and just applying a bunch of this around our neck area because we're going to be adding our bolts. We're also going to be taking our Skin Illustrator FX palette, taking Ultra Blue and Black and creating a few dark veins coming out from around this area as if it's either a few lightning bolts or as if you've had a lot of irritation going on in that area, which you probably have. We're also going to bruise up that area a little bit with our Graftobian Pro Paint and Mantis Green, so you're just going to stipple around that area as well. And what I'm using for the bolts is I'm taking this Bath & Body Works hand lotion cap and just spray painting those silver and just applying that with spirit gum on to the areas and making sure that they dry because your neck is a moving area, so you definitely want to make sure it is dried before you start moving your head around. And that is the completed look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my Halloween videos. I upload a new Halloween themed makeup tutorial every weekday for the month of October and a spoopy Saturday every Saturday of the month. So anyways, thank you guys again for watching, and with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!